Why in the world would anybody need a gun when they're hiking?
Attacked at least 6 hikers.
Stabbed to death on the popular hiking trail.
I've got 2 bodies down here.
No!
Attacked by a Rottweiler on her hike.
As soon as I did, the wolf stopped
with a brutal attack on the Appalachian Trail that left one hiker dead and another severely injured.
Should you carry a gun when you go backpacking? Well, that seems to be the most common question that I get from new hikers. And it's not that simple. And not for the reason you might think. It's complicated. You know, honestly, it's not a simple yes or no question. It's a loaded question, pun intended. If you need a definitive answer right away, right now, then the answer is absolutely not. So just don't do it. No, I wouldn't even fucking attempt that shit. Don't do it. That's my advice. It's a fucking nightmare if you want to carry a gun. Absolutely not. You do not carry a firearm into the woods for hiking or backpacking. Carrying a firearm is a huge responsibility that comes with massive implications if you mishandle the situation, including if you're carrying out in the backcountry. It's uncomfortable to walk around with, to tote it, especially when the main objective is walking and scrambling while wearing a heavy pack. It's cumbersome, it's heavy. You have to be familiar with the local laws, with the state laws, including federal laws if you're hiking on national parks. You have to be well trained and competent and be proficient handling firearms safely and shooting under pressure, not just at a stationary target. That takes years of practice. And ammunition is super expensive. If you went onto YouTube and you searched for, or Google and you searched for, should I carry a gun while hiking or backpacking? In my opinion, the answer is simple. It's a no. You don't need it. I'm all about the stats. And the stats say that you're more likely to die in your car in an accident on the way to the trailhead than on trail. Statistically speaking, the amount of people that actually have dangerous encounters with wildlife are statistically zero. Also, if you're worried about other people on trail, statistically speaking, you're in more danger anywhere else as opposed to the trail. But you don't carry a gun? I see what you would want to carry a gun. So if that's what you're concerned about, then you're good. You don't need a gun. So there's a number of arguments as to why you should carry a gun when you go hiking and backpacking. Maybe you carry a gun because you're scared of the dark at night. Bears, cougars, mountain lions, feral hogs, aggressive farm dogs, two-legged predators. There's a lot of shady people out there. As far as wildlife is concerned, what you should be worried on trail is mosquitoes and ticks and things like that, snakes and shit. Snakes. Mosquitoes kill more people than anything else on this world. Wolves, coyotes, people and wildlife, as far as bears, wolves, coyotes, raccoons, squirrels. That if you do end up getting into a situation in which you need to pull your gun out and actually use your firearm, it's highly doubtful that you'll actually be accurate. When your heart's pumping, your hands are shaky, something's running at you, stress is through the roof, and your anxiety is making you shit pebbles, good luck. It's a volatile situation. You know, the legal complications, the legal implications are just... You're shit out of luck. You're fucked. I wouldn't do it. Statistically speaking, a gun is heavy. I mean, you're out here backpacking and hiking. You're trying to cut weight. You're trying to have a light load. Guns are heavy. It just doesn't really work. Also, any type of facilities that you go to while you're at any state parks or national parks, they're off limits. And you're trying to go into the facilities to use the restrooms or get some water or some ice cream or some snacks or anything like that when you're on trail. You can't carry a gun in any one of those places. If you're carrying a gun and you're hiking and you come across one of these little gift shops and you want to go inside, you're shit out of luck. You stay your ass outside. If you're with buddies, you send your buddies in there to grab you a Coke or whatever the fuck, a Gatorade, but you stay your ass outside. Say you do want to go into one of these facilities and leave your pack outside and you have your gun inside of it and your gun gets stolen, shit, you're in a world of fucking trouble, man. It's just a fucking headache, dude. I don't understand why anybody would want to even, why would you want to put yourself through all this shit? And no, if you're by yourself, you don't leave your pack out there and go inside. You're shit out of luck. You ask somebody, hey, can you buy me a Coke? Can you buy me a Gatorade? Here's some money. You don't go in there, you're shit out of luck. Any building in any state park, any national park, consider that a federal building, and you cannot carry guns in any federal building anywhere. Just the legal aftermath is abundant. Trail culture, if you run into people, they see that you have a gun, it could get tense real quick. Which is why if you searched for should I carry a gun while hiking and backpacking, the answer is still no. Hey Duke, I thought you was all about the Second Amendment and guns. I've said it before here on my channel that I haven't been hiking and backpacking for that long. It's only been a few years. I didn't grow up in the outdoors. I grew up a city boy. The way that I got into hiking and backpacking was through hunting because of firearms. I've been working in the firearms industry for the last 15 years. I'm also a shooting instructor, certified shooting instructor. I have my own business on the side where I actually teach people and give classes on how to shoot and handle firearms safely. I'm a certified gunsmith as well. I don't practice anymore, but I tinker with my own guns at home. For many years, I was a firearms inspector, where all I did was actually shoot guns and inspect guns and test for accuracy. So in my lifetime, I've shot thousands of guns and maybe hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition. So when it comes to hiking and backpacking, I may not be the authority, but when it comes to firearms, I think I can speak on it a little bit more than most. Now, all that being said, there's plenty of reasons as to why you would want to carry a gun in the woods. Now, earlier I said that if you went online and you went onto YouTube or Google and you typed in there and you searched, should I carry a gun while hiking or backpacking? The answer would be simple. It's a resounding no. The people that are competent and that are proficient and that are ready to be able to carry a gun in the backcountry wouldn't be searching for that. If anything, they might be searching for legality issues and the laws. The first thing you should actually do is actually go get some training. Don't just buy a gun and go to the range and just shoot down range and throw some lead down range. Actually get an instructor that will show you the fundamentals of safe handling of a firearm and show you the proper fundamentals of actually how to shoot the firearm. Once you get training, that doesn't mean you're trained at that point. Then you need to practice. It's like when you take your dog to obedience school, once they get your dog back from obedience school, that doesn't mean that the training stops at that point. No, that dog trainer is going to train you on how to continue the training for your dog at home. Same thing goes with firearms. Once you take a firearm shooting class, that doesn't mean you're trained and you're good to go. That means that you must take those learnings and go to the range and put into practice the things that you learned. You went ahead and bought a firearm, you went ahead and went to the range, you went ahead and got some training, you took some classes, and then you went back to the range, you bought some ammo, you've actually put in your reps, you've practiced, you've gotten proficient. Now, how are you going to carry that gun when you go off backpacking and hiking? That's another decision you're going to have to make, is the carry method in which you're going to choose to carry your firearm when you go off into the backcountry. There's a number of different carry methods. Thigh rigs, I think that's cumbersome, especially when the main goal is hiking and scrambling. Paddle holsters on the hip belt of their backpack, I think that's inefficient as well, because then you take your pack off, you set your pack down, now you don't have your firearm with you. And what good is a firearm if you can't reach for it when you need it the most? Fanny pack or a chest rig, good options there. I like to use a fanny pack for the most part, simply because it's incognito. There's a lot of other hikers wearing fanny pack. They wouldn't know that I have a firearm. It's easy access where I could just reach, unzip, pull my firearm out. There's chest rigs that are also a viable option. Hill People Gear makes some really nice runners kits that actually go onto your chest. They're very efficient, and they have other zipper pockets that you can house other things like snacks and your keys and your wallet, etc. You just kind of have to fiddle around a little bit with your backpack sternum strap to make it fit accordingly. Other than those, I don't think ankle holsters, inside the waist belt, outside the waist belt, open carry, on your backpack's hip belt, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, appendix carry. I don't think any of those options are a viable option while you're backpacking. You went off, got a gun, got trained, got proficient, found a carry method. What's next? Now you need to pick a trail, check the laws for the trail in which you're hiking. If it's a long trail, something like the AT, you're shit out of luck. You're fucked. I wouldn't do it. The AT crosses something like 14 different states, and all the 14 different states have all types of different fucking laws, and actually a bunch of them are commie states. I wouldn't even fucking attempt that shit. Don't do it. That's my advice. It's a fucking nightmare if you want to carry a gun on the AT. The PCT, another fucking nightmare. Don't fucking do it. Any type of through hike like that, I wouldn't even fucking attempt it. Now, if you're doing shorter hikes, from the way that I understand it is, there may be a national park that spans multiple states. However, the section in which you're in, whatever state law, that governs that part of that national park. So if you can carry in that state, that section of the national park for that state, then you can carry there. That's the way I understand it. I'm not a lawyer. You may need to do some research of your own. Actually, as a matter of fact, you need to do some research of your own. Don't take my word for it, because I'm nobody. I don't know about that shit. I'm not a lawyer. You never tell anybody that you're carrying a gun. Absolutely never. Nobody needs to know that shit. You keep that shit concealed. You keep that shit secret from everybody. You don't tell anybody that you're carrying a gun. Nobody. At the end of the day, the answer is, do I carry a gun when I'm in the woods? Absolutely. 99% of the time I do carry a gun when I'm in the woods. Why do I carry a gun when I'm in the woods? Well, to protect my peace of mind. I carry a gun in my day-to-day life. If I carry a gun in my day-to-day life, I'm just extending that when I go hiking, backpacking, biking, canoeing, hunting, any outdoor activity. I'm gonna go ahead and practice my Second Amendment rights out there as well. It gives me peace of mind. It allows me to enjoy the outdoors a lot better. Knowing that I'm self-reliant and that I do have this last resort tool available to me in case anything threatens my life or anybody that's with me as well. And I will be able to defend myself and those that I love. This is inherently an American thing, so I didn't want to alienate all of our international viewers right at the beginning of the video. Guns is a polarizing issue around the world. It's a polarizing issue even here in America. Around the world, they don't view guns the way we view guns here. We do like to practice our Second Amendment rights here in America. It is written into our Constitution. That extends into the backcountry. Sorry, rest of the world. You guys get the metric system. We get to carry guns. This is what we do. We eat bacon and shoot guns. America. You know, something else to consider is the legal implications that come along with using the firearm in a self-defense situation when you're out in the backcountry, whether it's justified or not. There's going to be police reporting, and you're most likely going to be faced with legal fees that you're going to have to cover. Of course, in a self-defense situation, you get to live, so it's worth it. So let's touch on the cons first. So one, it's heavy. It adds a ton of dead weight to your kit. It's dead weight because it's something that you're not going to use. Hopefully, you're not going to use. 2, it's difficult to carry just in itself. And just to carry it, that means you have to add another piece of gear, some sort of carrying method, a holster, a chest rig, some way to actually carry this firearm. If you don't currently carry a chest pack or a fanny pack, it's something that you have to add to your kit, so that adds even more weight. It's not socially acceptable in the hiker backpacking community. The laws are complicated. They vary from state to state, including different national parks. There's always a risk of mishandling and misuse and having accidental discharges, or even having the firearm fall under the wrong hands of somebody that'll go through your kit and grab it, and somebody that doesn't know to handle a firearm. All facilities in national, state parks, they're all off limits from carrying a gun because they're all considered like federal buildings. You're shit out of luck. Trail culture is not conducive to the whole firearms conversation. So carrying a gun while on trail, hiking or backpacking is not considered kosher. So it's something that you have to keep secret from others. It's something that you don't want to share. It's illegal to discharge a firearm in a state park or a national park. So just off the top of my head, those are the cons that I can think of. Let's talk about the pros. So you have every right to protect yourself at all times, including the backcountry, and the Second Amendment protects that right for all Americans. It's a viable source to protect yourself against wildlife and against human predators. I know I can stay relaxed simply because in the back of my mind, I know that I always have that gun tucked away just in case shit pops off. I know that I'm protected. It helps protect my peace of mind and enjoy the backcountry a little bit more. If you practice your Second Amendment rights on your daily basis, on your daily life, you're just extending your habits and your practice when you're hiking and backpacking in the backcountry. And if you happen to preach preparedness and you preach that philosophy with your kits and everything that you do when in the backcountry, and you carry first aid kits and you carry EpiPens like I do, you carry Garmin InReach, satellite communicator of some sort, etc., and you're prepared in every sense of the word, and it only makes sense in order for you to be fully prepared for any situation that you would carry a firearm when hiking and backpacking as well. Hopefully I didn't come across too preachy, being that I do support the Second Amendment. And I know not everybody appreciates that, but I wanted to make sure that I touched on both sides of the token. But if you do decide, say you've never carried a gun in the woods and it's something that is intriguing to you and you would like to, then just make sure you go take the necessary actions of getting trained, practicing, finding the right carry method, and making sure that you research your state, local laws, as well as the federal laws on national parks. And remember, I'm not a lawyer, so all I'm telling you is this is how I interpret certain laws, this is how I go about it, and this is my personal advice to you. Take it with a grain of salt. What I don't want is a bunch of fucktards out in the woods with guns, and they don't need to have guns, and they're doing a bunch of stupid shit with guns. I know it's not for everybody. I know it's not right for everybody. And honestly, for the most part, 99.99999% of the time you carry a gun into the woods, you don't need it. So it's just that weight that you're carrying around, which is okay. That's the point. It's just peace of mind. It's not paranoia. It's just peace of mind. It's just a tool for last resort. It's like carrying a first aid kit. You hope that you don't need it, but if you do need it, you're glad that you have it with you. And that's the point. I did some research before recording this. And just to prove the point, on this particular trip, I didn't bring a gun. I brought this yellow plastic instructor's replica gun that I use for my shooting classes when I'm teaching people how to handle a firearm safely before we transition into live guns. It's a little bit lighter than a real gun, but just to mimic what it would be when carrying a gun in the woods, and just to kind of prove to myself that sometimes you don't need to carry a gun, because I wanted to make sure that I looked at both sides of the coin, and I didn't want to just be stuck in my ways. Stay feral. Oh, and by the way, YouTube thinks that you're gonna like this video here. It's pretty good. Trust me, I made it. Statistically speaking.